The next one is optimize what you drink and what you eat. That's a quick one because obviously when you put shit into your mouth, you can't expect gold to come out. 11 is manage the people you spend the time with wisely. So why is it so important to manage or to choose the people you spend with wisely? Everybody's a nice person in some way. Everybody has a good heart, but you can't choose your circle of what people you spend your most time with around if they have a good heart. Why? Because they might have lazy habits. I want to go to the gym. They tell me, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to chill. At some point, that might also make me a little bit lazy, right? Or they have bad habits in a way like when they go working out, they always finish early. After 50 minutes, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go now. What the heck, right? Or they have bad eating habits. They have, other bad habits. At some point, it's proven if you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later, you're gonna get a haircut, right? And it's the same thing when you hang around long enough with losers, you're gonna be the next one. And the key to becoming successful simply as a man and making insane amounts of progress is to surround yourself by men who do that. If you hang around me and you don't wanna go to the gym, I don't expect that. I don't accept it. You're gonna come with me to the gym, right? If you wake up and you're like, today I'm lazy, I'm gonna watch Netflix, I'm not gonna accept it. I'm gonna make you feel bad, you're gonna make the progress, and you're gonna look later back at the day and say like, thank you for making me feel bad in the morning so I would get my ass up and do it, right? So it's very important that you spend time with the right people. Now you have a girlfriend. What is the number one person you will spend the most time with in your life? The number one person, who is that? No, that is yourself. Second person is your girlfriend. Okay, it was a tricky question. So it's even more important. It's so important that your girlfriend, you have a very good dynamic, because I've seen, and you probably also know these couples, and I know that you don't belong to these, but you and me know there are couples, they come together and then that's when they stop kind of to strive for more greatness. They stop working out so much. They stop eating. They become more comfortable. They watch more Netflix. They eat more bad food. Why? Because it's comfortable. You can have sex together. You can have a good time together. You're never alone. It's comfortable. But if you are a man with high goals, you can't have that. You need to have a woman on your side who's going to make you feel bad for not representing the type of man that she sees in you. But that also means you need that type of woman who sees something in you, okay? And these women are oftentimes uncomfortable, right? When I look back in my life, my wife was a lot of times very, very annoying because she would tell me to do the things I didn't want to do. And I was like, why? I don't want to do that now. Leave me alone. But she would make me become the man also that I needed to do, even though I didn't like it, okay? So I think it's one of the, if you have the right woman on your side, you can just only win. What do you think? I love it. And I think a lot of times, I can just speak about me now. I was smoking for many, many years, and I was always smoking on and off. And my girlfriend would always tell me when I was smoking that I stink, I don't look good when I smoke, and she doesn't want to have a husband and father that smokes and stuff like this. And I understood that. Now, whenever I was smoking and she would piss me off, I would be pissed. And I wouldn't really, even though I wouldn't understand why she's doing it, I was just like, man, why is she doing that? She knows that I'm gonna quit one day. Today, looking back, it was the best decision from her that she was annoying me because nobody else was. My friends didn't care if I smoke. My parents didn't know if I smoke. The only person who really cared was my girlfriend, and the only person who ultimately annoyed me in a way where I was also like, okay, fuck that, I'm not gonna smoke anymore, I'm just gonna be the guy I want her to see in me and have, because she has great expectations, you know what I mean? Okay, play life like a game. What can you tell me about this, please? Absolutely, I love that. And you said something that I didn't even think about. You said to not stop, you can't stop. And it's actually very true, because if you look at life, life is playing like a game, and the truth is you can't just stop it, which then ultimately means you either win or you lose at times. You can't just stay at one level, okay? So if you just make sure to every day make a little bit progress, 1% better every day. And for most people, that would simply mean to wake up and have a morning routine, to meditate, or simply mean to just work out, which takes two hours per day to have a great routine and work out. And they would already make significant progress every single day, which then leads to a better self-image, which then leads to more hunger for more success. It's like when you lick blood once, what do you want? You want more blood. But if you don't lick blood, very difficult to wake up and be like, I want to lick blood today. You know what I mean? So that's why I think you're absolutely right. Very, very, very important point. You can't stop. So you have to make sure that you're in a winning phase all the time, not losing. I love that. Super Bowl versus Hall of Fame. What can you tell me about this, please? I love it. Couldn't have said it better. Absolutely. Perfect. And what is the number one reason why we want to live in seasons? And I ask this now from a perspective of, let's speak about addictions. Let's say you have an addiction. You know that I don't recommend to surround yourself with people who have an addiction. I don't believe in the anti-alcoholic meetings and stuff. Why? Because you surround yourself with people who talk every day about alcohol and how bad it was and their experiences. So it's part of you all the time. In this regard, what do you think is the key for living in seasons, or the main reason why we do this? I love it. What do you think happens to a child that wins a tournament once? Yes, because they have the self-image of a champion. So the reason why we live in seasons is not because, many reasons, but the main reason is because when you live in a season where you say for 30 days, for 60 days, for 90 days, you just give it your best. Yes, you say no to porn, you say no to drugs, you say no to negative thinking, no to the news, no to laziness, no to bad habits for 60 days. And then, but you know that you can do all of that bad stuff again after 60 days. What happens is in these 60 days, your self-image changes so much from average to champion that in the bad season, then call it bad season, you can never go back to being as bad as before. It's impossible. Just like the child who once wins a tournament, they will always have the desire to win again and again and again. And they would adjust all the behavior to win again. But a lot of people, they put so much pressure on them when you're not used to being a winner. They put so much pressure on them. Oh man, I'm a loser. It takes my whole life to change now to become a winner. No, it doesn't. It takes 60 days. 60 days of giving it your all. Make yourself feel like a winner once and you will want to get this feeling all the time, right? We have 2 more. It's important to have a mission and track your progress. What can you tell me about this, please? I love it. You're very, very smart. I love it. Well said. Perfect. Who said it? David Deida. David Deida wrote the book, The Way of the Superior Man. Okay? And he said in the book, a man without a mission is a crippled man. And it is so true. As a man, you have a potential. I think women don't have that, by the way, but I'm not here now to speak against women. That's not against women. It's just, let's focus on men. Men have something inside them that's so brutal, so aggressive, and so powerful in a very masculine and divine way. If you give that man a mission, he's going to be unstoppable. Like if you're 70, you retire as a man. Chances are very high if you don't have anything to do, you're just gonna die. There are many studies proving that after someone retires, they just die suddenly. Why? Because they lack the mission again. But if you have that man who, his wife and his children, God protects us, are kidnapped and he has to find them. He can be awake for three nights, searching for his family, and you ask him, hey, how are you doing, man? He's just like, leave me alone. You ask him, hey, do you have high energy? He's just gonna be like, of course, leave me alone, I have a mission, right? And he's not gonna stop until he completes that mission. That's why it's so important to have a mission. How do you find your mission? Yes. I like that. I like that. I love it. 100%. And I think you have to fail a lot because I think a mission also is directly linked to knowing what you don't want. In order to know what you don't want, you must try things, be bold, and then fail and be like, I never want this again. And that's when I think you can build a life around not having to experience these type of failures or pain anymore, just living basically the comfortable other side. The last part here is making a 30-day test. But this is actually what we talked about already with the Super Bowl. When you do as good as you can for 30 days, like never before. I'm not speaking about just doing great. I'm speaking about doing better than you've ever done in your life for 30 days. Everything will change. Everything. Because you will literally see that you can achieve everything you set your mind to. You're not going to achieve the biggest goals in 30 days, but you're going to achieve believing that you can achieve them. And if you look at the champion, they're not different than us or other people, normal people. They just had the belief and they never let go of that belief. Why? Because at some point they realized they can do it. And that's why I think making a 30-day test and just doing more than you've ever done before and giving it more than you've ever done before and waking up earlier, going to bed earlier, working harder, working out more, eating better, reading more books, less negativity, less negative people, no news, and so on. It's gonna change your entire life. You can never go back again. I truly believe that if a child would do this, let's say a 16, 17-year-old young man would do this, all of them in the world, a 30-day test where they go nuts, they will never be the same again. And they will never be able to go to average because they've seen what they're capable of, right? They achieve this winner feeling, and that's when they strive more for it.